taste. So after the week that was being in Thailand, a lot of things kind of came back full circle, I guess you could say. It was an interesting week. I mean, it really had to be. I mean, as soon as I come back to work on Wednesday, I kind of said to myself, I need to, I can't throw this away. Having put on 3-4 kilos in a matter of days in Thailand, I just couldn't kind of let that go. So this week had its own challenges though, because one of the things I had was I had multiple menu tastings this week, because that was kind of a couple of the projects I had the team work on while I was away. So when I came back, first day I walked into, we have a golf course here, so walked into the golf menu tasting. So that was the first challenge, because they put on a full menu, having to taste things, and it's quite crucial that I do taste the food, because unfortunately that menu tasting didn't go as well as I hoped, and we're going to repeat the whole thing again this Wednesday. So and that comes down to me having to taste things and saying, listen, this is working, this doesn't work. So it makes it difficult, and so I myself have to really hone down on what I do, because I can really only take a small tasteful, a mouthful, and then try and work out if it's correct or not. I mean, luckily I have my senior team with me to also assist me on that. But so yeah, that was a Wednesday, and then the Thursday I took the entire team out when we had our retreat in Hue, which if you go back a few videos you'll see there was a vegetarian restaurant we went to, and I was really impressed with the food there. So I was quite keen to take the team to see this vegetarian food. So that was the second challenge. So on Wednesday, we had this menu tasting. Thursday, I'm going back to trying vegetarian food again. So this is kind of a few things that have kind of thrown its own challenges, but I did get through without too many problems. Had to stay very, very diligent in tasting and not eating, and especially with the vegetarian food, because I'll tell you what, they do some great vegetarian food there. And I was beforehand I was quite keen not to order the fried stuff, so there was a lot of salads and cooked food, but then tofu is always kind of fried, so it's like a double negative. So that kind of got through that, and then of course this week was the introduction of the bitter gourd juice, or bitter melon as some people may know it. I tell you what, wow, this is some hard stuff to drink. I'll put up what the nutritional and the health benefits of the juice are, but it is extremely bitter, and when you blend it, it comes out quite foamy and frothy. So that alone is quite off-putting. So I had to kind of tweak it a little bit. When I first got it, it was still served to me warm, and I'll tell you, when you're drinking it warm, it has this melting plastic kind of smell, which is even more off-putting. So I really had to kind of tweak it. I put it in the fridge a little bit to cool it down. So that kind of helps the drinking. Now what I do is I mix it. So I mix half of that with my regular juice, just to kind of cut the taste, but also cut a bit of that bitterness, because it's too bitter for me to try out. It's full of fiber, and it gives you kind of a bit of a pep up to get going, and I kind of think of the benefits and not really the taste. So yeah, that's the bitter gourd juice. So I kind of mentioned it a few weeks back that I was going to try it, so here we go, we're finally trying it. Now the week coming up, like I said, we have the menu tasting for golf again. This week is a busy week. I mean, this actually next 2 months is pretty busy for us, so it's going to be quite challenging for me to kind of stay focused and get going. But still pushing through. You know, this morning on the scale, 171.8. So nearly, I think I'm pretty much cracked that 10 kilo mark now. But of course, I want to try and get into, you know, pretty much get to 160, into the 160s, sorry, not 160, 160s to kind of make that call to say, you know, 10 kilos is down. But, you know, it's now 28 days in. So 10 kilos, 28 days. It wasn't what I hoped. I was trying to hope to get going a bit quicker than this. But realistically, you know, with Thailand thrown in there and a couple of mishaps, it kind of picks up, you know, it kind of pulls itself together. So I'm quite happy. You know, I don't think I can really complain about losing only 10 kilos in a month, because I think a lot, you know, looking back at all my exercise attempts to lose weight, you know, I was struggling to get you know, a kilo off a month, let alone 10 kilos. So yeah, still staying focused on that. Now in the gym, I'll tell you what, I've been going a bit like this in the gym. A couple of days ago, I wasn't really focused, and I was kind of drawing it out. I'm like, I don't really want to go, I don't want to really go. And then all of a sudden I went into the gym and went on the step machine. I used to go on the elliptical, but now I'm on the step, which is kind of like a half elliptical machine. Same kind of process, not as much, I guess, the legs don't swing as much. But right next to it there's this machine called the crossover, or the crossover elite. That's what Techno Gym calls it, because we use Techno Gym here. And this machine, the most I've ever been able to do is 3 minutes. And you know, I was on the step machine, giving it a full beans, and half, you know, as I'm watching, you know, because I kind of do half an hour on the gym now. I kind of say half an hour in the step machine's my standard. I looked at the crossover and I said, you know what, I need to try and master this. So after the half an hour, jumped on the crossover. I put on, there's kind of a little 10-minute set or 15-minute set of music that kind of always gets me pumped. So I made sure I put that on to make sure, you know, I have the most kind of energetic music I can get going. And I started, and I tell you what, 15 minutes later, because when I got to 5 minutes, I was wrapped. Then I said, I'm going to push for 10, and, you know, because my song was still going. So after 10, I'm like, okay, I reckon I can get, you know, I kind of didn't really look at 10. I kind of looked at it, and it was like 12 minutes in, and I said, you know what, I'm going to push to the next 3 minutes and finish 15 minutes. So got 15 minutes done that night, and then again the next night did the exact same thing. You know, half an hour on the step, and then 15 minutes on the crossover. And I tell you what, you feel it completely, and you're drenched and you're, you know, sweating, but the energy is just there. I don't know what made me, you know, what possessed me to kind of do that, because like I said, the best I've ever done was 3 minutes. I didn't do it today. I kind of said, you know what, I mean, I did feel exhausted, and this morning I had a few errands to run very early in the morning. You know, I felt tired from that, so I didn't want to go through it again. So especially going into a very busy week, but I'm quite happy with that. And, you know, that's another little, you know, another little tick I can say, and that's another little achievement I can kind of say I've done. So yeah, so far so good. Keeping on, you know, still pushing along. This week, yeah, stick to the program, and yeah, keep on juicing, and I'll see you next time. See you later.